Hello friends, our topic for today is work, and as you can guess it's very pertinent because we all work, and through this discussion we learn what is the right attitude and many other subtle insights I hope will come out of our discussion this time. So let's begin as we always do by reading from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda. And let's see what he has written about this topic. He writes, "Work should be done with a creative attitude, never for the sake of selfish gain, but for the chance it gives us to help create a better world. Those who work with the thought of pay live in the future. They lose the habit of living here and now, where alone true happiness can be found. Work should always be done as well as possible, not out of self-conceit, but in gratitude for the free gift of life, of sunshine, of water, of air, and in gratitude simply for our God-given power to be useful to our fellow men." So in this reading, Swami Kriyananda ji has brought many different insights, but one of the first thoughts that come to my mind is a quote by Swami Shri Yukteswar, the guru of Paramhansa Yogananda, and he said, "As long as you breathe the free air of this earth, you are under obligation to render grateful service." Now, how many of us work with that attitude of grateful service, and how many of us work with the thought of the paycheck at the end of the month is something we all can introspect. And the spiritual path, you see, is about ego transcendence. It's about transcending the ego to realize our oneness with the divine. But the ego keeps referring everything back to itself. What about me? What am I going to get? What's in it for me? If I do this much work, what will be the benefit? And so, since childhood, perhaps we are trained to think in this way. But as we consciously walk the spiritual path, we have to change this particular tendency of the ego. And even people who are the best of the best, even outside the spiritual path, if you see them in worldly terms, so to speak, you look at Mozart, you look at Einstein, these people were not working for a paycheck. They were working because they loved what they do and they wanted to use their God-given talents to help humanity through music, through science, to discover the realities of the universe in the case of Einstein. And they were great because they were working for the work itself. As Swamiji said, work should be done as best as possible, right? So they were working on perfecting their craft, whatever that is, and not working because someone is paying them at the end of the month. So that is for all of us also. We look at ourselves and we analyze our motives. We introspect and we try to bring the attitude of love, of service into everything that we do. Yogananda ji said that in the state of love, no matter what you do, it's going to be good. That is why every child likes their mother's cooking, right? So we all crave when we go back home. Let's say those of us, if you're like me, you stay away from home. When I go home, all I want is just the simplest cooked meal has to be cooked by my mother. Not necessarily because she's a master chef. She is a great cook. But more importantly, I like her food, and all of us like our mother's food, is because it's cooked with love. And when you do anything with love, it is bound to be good. On this topic of work, I was also thinking that Swamiji says if we are working for a paycheck, our happiness is always dependent on a future circumstance. And I remember back to my college days and talking to some of my friends, and I was in one of the best colleges of India here, and naturally they had offers for really high paying corporate jobs. But at that point I did not want to take any of those jobs. I was already on the spiritual path, and a year or two later I actually started serving my guru full time as a part of the Ananda Delhi Center here in South Delhi, Panchsheel Park. And now, after a few years of doing this, and after a few years of my friends getting those high paying jobs, I talk to them and there is no joy. There is no joy in their eyes, and I always see them lamenting about something, because their happiness, as Swamiji rightly says, is dependent on the paycheck. And even though they might be earning really good 5-6 figure salaries, they are still cringing about the discounts in the restaurant, or haggling at certain places in the marketplace, and their consciousness is still focused on money. And I find that even though they thought that that high paying job is going to give them satisfaction, but in many ways it's made them all the more miserable, because it has made them all the more focused on an outward reality, whether it's money, whether it's possessions, to satisfy them. And that, as we all know, is never going to happen. So the more we base our happiness on a future event, the more our happiness will always elude us, right? So if we want to be happy with the work that we are doing, we need to change our attitude. We don't need to change our jobs. Many people are caught up in the process of not finding satisfaction at work, not because the perks aren't good, but they feel that just only if they have a better organization to work for, which offers them more benefits, more perks, more facilities, better office space, more bonuses, the list goes on and on and on. Only if they had a little bit more, they would feel happy. But the key to happiness, you see, is a shift of the inner attitude, is to do whatever you're doing, to do it with love, and to do it in an attitude of service. Instead of always thinking, what am I getting, trying to see God in other people and trying to serve them, whether they are your clients, your co-workers, your superiors, or people at home. Let's say if you are a homemaker, then even every little task that you do, whether it's cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes, or preparing something special for your children, whatever that may be, if you do it with love, you will find that the act of doing it itself gives you so much satisfaction. And that satisfaction can never come if someone were to walk up and offer you $1 million for doing that, because that satisfaction is born out of love, out of selfless, unconditional love. And that is the path of karma yoga, to offer the fruits of our action to God, and to just serve God without thinking of the fruits of our action, to think of God as we are serving, and then God fills us with His own joy. In chapter 3, verse 4, I'll read from the Gita, Krishna says, "Actionlessness cannot be attained by mere inaction. One who forsakes work in the name of divine aloofness from activity cannot reach perfection." So what Sri Krishna is advising here is that we might feel, especially on the spiritual path, that meditation and work are antithetical to each other, and that in order to advance on the path, we have to forsake outer worldly activity. But to achieve that actionless state of samadhi, first we have to be intensely active for God. We need to learn how to offer every act to God with love, with devotion, with an attitude of service. And the more we learn to do that, the more we'll find our meditations also becoming more and more deeper. And only when we are able to reach those high states of meditation, where we can sit in meditation, in effective meditation for 24 hours a day, then only perhaps we are allowed to not do outward activity. But until we reach that point, it is our job, it is our dharma to work for God, not to work for selfish gain, but to work for God wherever we are, whether we are cooking at home, whether we are answering emails at work, whether we are serving at an ashram and teaching meditation, or whatever else that we might be doing. It's the inner attitude that counts, because God is watching the heart. God doesn't care about what you do outwardly. God watches your heart, and God is seeing if you are devoted to Him, if you are thinking of Him. He knows everything, and you cannot hide anything from Him. So there is no use of trying. So till the time we reach that point of the actionless state, we have to work, but we work with the right attitude, with love, with devotion, to serve the one which is present in all. So with that said, let's practice the affirmation on work that Swami Kriyananda ji has given us. And before we practice, let's just sit up straight, close our eyes, focus deeply at the point between the eyebrows, and repeat after me with a lot of energy. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. And now, in a whisper, taking it deep into your subconscious mind, I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. And now mentally only, bringing all your attention to the point between the eyebrows, gazing deeply, and repeat these words mentally only as I say them out loud. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of Thee, Lord. I offer to Thee the very best that is in me. Let that thought sink in deeply into your consciousness. And now silently pray with me also from your heart with devotion. Beloved Lord, who so wonderfully created the high snowy mountains, the bounding rivers, the colorful fragrant flowers, the vast heaving oceans, and the distant glittering stars, manifest through me Thy perfect joy. Joy to you, my friends.